Hi, welcome back. This is Whoops, I Got Wasted, episode 2. And today we wanted to show you how to cook something called beer and clam brisket. When I was living out west and we were a little under the weather the night after drinking, we would reach for a beer and clam, which is basically beer with clamato juice. And that was our hangover cure. But since I've gotten older and learned that hair of the dog is probably not as good for me as I once thought it was, I wanted to show you how to have all of the flavors of a beer and clam, but in a meal. And this also doubles as a meal that you can make if you have people coming over for dinner and you're too hungover to cook. You wake up in the morning, do a couple quick things to the brisket, get it in a pan, and then cook it off for 6 hours. So the first step is to get your brisket. There's 5 pounds of brisket here, cut into equal pieces. There's a can of San Marzano tomatoes, a cup of clamato juice. Nickelbrook is sponsoring this episode, and this is their Naughty Neighbor beer. It's really hoppy, and that flavor comes through really nicely with the brisket. There's 1 onion cut up, bay leaf, 4 cloves of garlic, salt, and flour. And the first thing you want to do is flour up pieces of brisket with just plain white flour and some salt. What this will do is really help it dry out on the top, so it'll get a really nice brown flavor, and that brown flavor comes through a lot when everything is cooked and put together. All right, so you've got your floured and salted pieces of brisket, and you're going to brown them off in a big pan with a little bit of oil over medium-high heat. You really want to get that good brown color underneath because the flavor of that's really going to come through when the brisket's all cooked and it all simmers together. So these guys, probably about 2 or 3 minutes on each side. Flip them, do the other side until all of the pieces are done. After that, we'll get the onions in, start frying those up, and then put it all together. Okay, so all of your meat is now browned off. You want to really brown it on all sides, not just the top and bottom. So really take your time here and make sure it has good color. It will make a difference, I promise. So you've got it all nestled into a pan here. Now I'm going to grab some onions and throw those in there and get them frying up a little bit. You do want them a little bit brown, but not completely browned. So fry the onions up. So the onions are good. They've got a little bit of color on them, but not too much. I'm going to add in 4 cloves of chopped garlic. I minced mine pretty fine, but don't be too picky about it. It's all going to be smushed together and delicious once it's cooked. So I'll get the garlic going a little bit. And then once your pan is pretty hot, because you do want to cook the alcohol off the beer before you put it into the pan. So 1 full bottle of a beer that's got a good hop to it. Of course, we recommend Nickelbrook, but if it's not available where you are, then choose whatever you like to drink. And I'm just going to let this cook down a little bit. I want it to reduce by about half. The beer in the pan's reduced by half. As you can see, it's a bit thicker now. So what I'm going to do is add 1 cup of clamato. If you can't find clamato where you are, use tomato juice and a little bit of clam juice. So I would say maybe 3/4 of a cup of tomato juice to 1/4 clam. So I've got the clam juice in there, and I'm going to add 1 can of San Marzano tomatoes. That's Italian plum tomatoes. It's important that you use Italian ones. They have much better flavor. It's important that you don't do that as well. Okay, and last but not least, 2 bay leaves right in there. Get everything mixed up. You're going to pour this over the brown meat, cover it with tin foil or with a tight-fitting lid, and put it in the oven at 250 for 6 to 8 hours. If you can wait 8 hours, great. If you only have 6 hours, it'll still be great. It'll still fall apart and be delicious. Then you can just go back to bed. So it's been about 8 hours, so I can take the brisket out of the oven now, and it should be falling apart. All right, so This should all be really beautiful. So everything is just falling apart now, and it's really easy to just shred it into big pieces. So we've got everything shredded up now. Got this giant pile, 5 pounds worth of meat. You can put it over polenta, over baked potatoes. What I like to do is toss it with a little bit of cooked penne and top it with basil, some Parmesan cheese, and it's kind of like a ragu, a really good hearty ragu. And that's it. So you get to be hungover all day and sleep while this meal pretty much makes itself. And then when you're ready to eat, cook pasta, cook polenta, cook baked potatoes, put it on a bun, whatever way you want to eat it, it's done. So that's it, your hangover meal, episode 2. Thanks for watching, guys.